Plants vs. Zombies spin-off series, known as the Garden Warfare games, has always been known for taking a more goofy and creative spin on the PvZ franchise, known for its innovative and out-of-the-box ideas, one of which being the different types of character classes you can play as. In the games, there are typically a few characters on each side that have a main variant along with other versions of that character that have different twists to them, such as a fire character or one that shoots spaceballs at people. Today, we're going to be ranking the pea shooter along with its many variants that come with it to see which one is truly the best. Also, a quick disclaimer, keep in mind that these are all my opinions and that they don't just take into account how well a character performs in combat, but also things like how fun they generally are to play in game or how creative the idea of the character is. But without further ado, let's peas just rank these already. So the first pea we're going to be ranking is the Agent Pea. I hate to put the first character up this high, but he's going in S tier. Not only is he good at securing kills from all types of ranges, but it's also really satisfying to get kills with him, especially if you mow a zombie down with consecutive headshots. Really, the only drawback to Agent P is that he doesn't have that much health, but as long as you keep your distance and move around a lot, you should be fine. Also, I find it funny that Agent P is technically the only person with a license to vanquish, and that everyone else is just committing war crimes. Yeah, that's an official canonical fact, look it up. Anyways, yeah, check him up in S tier. Now we have the OG, the original, pea shooter. Now, this guy is one of the big mascots of PvZ, but unfortunately, as much as I hate to do this though, pea shooter is going to go down all the way in C tier. Now, his gameplay isn't the worst, and it is fun to try and get headshots with him, but I think the whole splash damage with the cost of a slow-moving bullet thing is just something I'm not really a big fan of. The only reason he really isn't any lower for me is just because he's part of a class with really good abilities, along with him being such an iconic character of the series. Really, other than that, there's really nothing interesting about him or his character, so unfortunately, he's going to go down in C tier. Now, the next pea we have up is the Ice Pea, and, well, this guy's like the exact same as the last two guys. Like the Fire Pea, he's like the exact same as the normal pea shooter, only now doing less damage in exchange for having the ice effect that slowly freezes a zombie for each shot that you hit. One thing I will say though is that he was one of my favorite plants from the first game, which gives him some points for nostalgia. Also, although he is definitely nowhere near my favorite pea shooter, I do think I like the ice effect a little bit more than the fire effect. The sound effect that also plays every time you shoot as him sounds nice, so for that, I'll put him at the top of B tier. Next up is the Commando Pea, who has one of my favorite types of guns in the entire game. One thing I really don't like about a lot of the pea shooters is that instead of having a fast-firing gun like a lot of the other characters in the game, they have a slower type of bullet with splash damage instead. This guy, however, has a fast-firing gun that incentivizes you to track a bunch of players and hit direct shots instead of having the whole splash damage gimmick like a good majority of the pea shooter class. I also really like the design of the guy with his headband, buzz cut, eye paint, and most importantly, his snout that he has, which also looks like it's the end of a rifle or something. Also, I find it funny that this guy is supposed to be like a big tough general dude, even though the only noises he makes in the game are just some random high-pitched squeals. The only drawback this guy really has is that he doesn't have any range, but other than that though, he's great. For that, he's going in A tier. Next we have Plasma Pea. Now Plasma Pea's whole gimmick is that he can either choose to shoot quickly like Agent P or Commando P, or choose to hold the shoot button down to have a splash attack that does more damage like the base pea shooter. Now, I really like this idea and think it's a good idea to have a character that can kind of do a little bit of everything. I also like his design with him having a whole space theme around him, and I think his glowy bullets with the Saturn ring around it looks really cool. I honestly really don't have any problems with him either, so honestly, I think I'm going to put him in S tier. Now next up is someone who I used to think was good when the game first came out, but now I kind of don't like, and that's the Toxic Pea. Now originally I used to think that the Toxic Pea was literally just the exact same as the normal pea shooter, but also having the added capability of toxic damage, which was very similar to fire. I soon realized though that not only did this guy do less damage with his base shot, but his bullets were also slower than the normal pea shooter, which amplified the one thing I hated about the original the most. Now, I don't absolutely despise this guy, but he's definitely one of my least favorite characters, at least in the pea shooter class, putting him down in C tier. One thing I do kind of like about him though, is the design of him having a snap protruding through the gas mask he's wearing, rendering it useless to him, which I do think is a little bit funny. Next up is one of the newer characters to Garden Warfare 2, being the Electro Pea. Now, I already want to say this guy probably gets the most creativity points out of all the Peas for several different things. First off, his base attack is like the normal pea shooters with two differences. The first one is pretty basic, just being that his attack does electric damage. The second one is that now his attack explodes midair. I really like this feature because it allows for more creativity with each shot instead of just shooting at zombies' feet hoping to get kills with your shot. His projectiles also do a lot of damage too, which is always good. Another thing I really like about the Electro Pea is the design of his character, probably being the most unique out of all of the pea shooters, with his electric bolt, his eyebrows, along with his alien-like eyes. Unfortunately though, his shots do still shoot very slow, which I don't like at all, so I think he'll go in A tier. Now, this next guy is probably my least favorite character, in the entire game. Now, I'm going a little bit off script here, but, I hate Rock Pea so much. He contradicts Pea Shooter's entire character. Pea Shooter is supposed to be a quick, high mobility character that's supposed to, run around, and the whole point is he has, not that high health, but it's hard to hit him. But the thing with Rock Pea is that, although, yeah, he does have a little bit extra health, he's so easy to hit because he moves so slow. He contradicts Pea Shooter's entire character design. Also, Rock Pea's design in general is just not a good design. It's literally just the normal Pea Shooter, except now he's just Rocky. That's literally it. And he's supposed to be one of the new Garden Warfare characters too, which means they're supposed to, put more time into him. He's supposed to be one of the big new characters for Garden Warfare 2. But I feel like he's just a really lazy design, and he's just a clone of the armored type of characters in the game. So honestly, if there was an F tier on this list, he'd be going into that, but because there's no F tier, he's going into D tier. This is Yacht from the future. I also wanted to mention that apparently the Rock Pea who shoots literal rocks does less damage than the Pea Shooter who shoots squishy peas. I also wanted to mention that because I also think that's super stupid. I feel like if he has less mobility, I feel like he should also be able to do more damage. And the fact that he shoots literal rocks but does less damage than a person who shoots peas is also crazy. So I also just wanted to mention that. Second to last on the list is Law Pea, and I think he's tied with Agent Pea for the best pea shooter. Now, the reason why I'm a little bit unsure with his placement is because of his entire character kind of relying on how quick you can shoot at him. If you use an auto clicker where you can click really fast as him, he's probably even better than Agent Pea, but if you shoot slower, he's probably a little worse. I also like the idea of a cowboy pea shooter and the little mustache the guy has. I think my only complaint about him, if anything, is just how long it takes for him to reload, having one of the longer reloads in the game. Other than that though, I think it's pretty clear that Law Pea deserves S tier next to the Agent Pea. Anyways, I think that's all the characters What? There's another character left only appearing in the first game as a collab. His name's Berry Pea? Oh yeah, I remember him. Anyways, jokes aside, Berry Pea is probably one of the worst characters in the entire game. His only difference from the normal pea shooter is that he has a bigger splash area with the cost of less damage. This is probably more of a downgrade anyways, because if you hit your shots as the normal pea, you'll end up just doing more damage regardless. Also, his design is literally just the ice pea, but a darker shade of blue and him having berries on his head, making him really not creative at all, especially compared to some of the higher ranked peas. Therefore, he's going in C tier. Honestly, he's lucky Rock Pea is so bad, otherwise he'd be in D tier. This is me from the future, and apparently I just forgot to rank the Fire Pea. Now, I do have the script, and I have the Fire Pea ranked on the tier list, but I just forgot to record, the part for him, so I'm just going to do that real quick. So, the Fire Pea is pretty much the exact same thing as the normal pea shooter. He does not get any points for creativity. Now, really the only difference between him and the base pea shooter is that he does a little bit less base damage with the shots in exchange for having a fire effect on him. I do still prefer playing him over the normal pea shooter, and I do think he does look a lot cooler than the normal pea shooter, so he's definitely going to get a higher tier. So I think I'm going to put him in the tier above the normal pea shooter and put him in B tier. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos by me, click on one of the boxes on the screen. Also, if you have any suggestions on what character to rank next, put them in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.